No, you're not dreaming it. As a matter of fact, The Last of Us show, based on the game, landed on HBO last night. And the steady flow of shill reviews in preparation for its arrival, well, they exceeded Rings of Power levels. So, let's dive into the fantasy world of Positive Spin and my thoughts on the show after the first episode. Here we go. So you have to know that the swag and the incentives for, I guess, being a shill have to be amazing when you see that the Rotten Tomatoes score for this particular show were at 98%. And that was before it went public. I haven't checked today to see what they are. You also know they want to hype the show up fairly considerably at this time, or at least when I'm recording this, because you already have 102 reviews to look over. And that's an awful lot for a show, again, on HBO Max, HBO, whatever. It's not surprising that when this deal was put together, however, it had the combined compromised morals of Neil Druckmann, with the creative writing and direction of Craig Mazin. The end result is not a shot-for-shot representation of the game, and I don't think it was ever intended to be. It really supposedly starts to wander well off the beaten path after the third episode, and it's also going to introduce some characters that weren't present in the game. Again, I'm not sure that that's going to matter a whole lot, but 9 episodes this thing will work through. It's trying to represent the first game. There are many newly crafted things added for the modern audience, of course, and not the least of which is the global warming narrative that they push right at the beginning. And I think it's, a little ham-fisted, to say the least. And it's going to spin backwards as it does at the very beginning of the show. It's going to spin backwards by flashing back many different times. Of course, the first flashback is right at the beginning. It basically gives you an outline for how an outbreak would occur. And of course, again, narratively, global warming, climate stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's not necessarily in the game. Now, in addition to the flashbacks that we've seen in the first episode, it's going to continue to happen. So be prepared for a change in timeline as well. Again, not just in the first episode, but reportedly throughout all 9, quite possibly. And because they want to bring more fear than in WEF-controlled government, they have to move the events to start and coincide from the original dates, which were in 2003 to 2013, which means the game's crap-stained single will be aligning with 2023. Exciting, huh? It's not really a contrivance at all, is it? Well, of course it is. This was also clearly done so no one had to work that hard on fashion or structures or set dressing or foliage changes or anything, or even the makeup of populations of cities. I don't know if this was done for that purpose to reflect like the easiest possible thing, but it was definitely done in order to reflect the way the world is, as people would remember in the last decade. So again, it's also quite clear to me 2013 was also the year that the narrative was starting to take shape around everything else. So if you look at the world around you, and of course this stupid show, you're going to realize that very little has progressed forward since about that time. In both the remake of The Last of Us game, because yes, they're making a remake, and of course in the show, Tess seems to be wildly different in appearance than, well, she was in the game. And to be fair, Anna Torv does a pretty good job as Tess, but the game looks like it's going to be completely odd, very much older and more haggard. Not that Anna Torv doesn't look older or haggard in the show. Just my opinion that the remake's kind of off. There are other people that would say the same as well. But to step back away from the games, I'm not sure many people are going to stick around for all 9 episodes. This is kind of a rehash of a zombie story told in a slightly different way. So maybe there's something there for people. I know that I probably won't be able to finish this show for a lot of reasons, which I'll get to in just a moment. And it's actually kind kind of a shame, really. I suspect the audience will fall off considerably after the 3rd episode when you get that major deviation I was mentioning. You always get high quality things with an HBO show for the most part. At least the visuals are usually amazing, like theater quality stuff. When it comes to what they've been doing recently, especially since we're still rolling over material that was greenlit back when the narrative was in full swing, you kind of feel bad for HBO. If you look at what's really out there right now for HBO, and if you pinch your nose and move past what's in Velma, which is a complete trash fire, you'll still have to look at the complete total amount of garbage that HBO has been putting out that is masking itself under adult-oriented humor. But we're going to, again, set that aside. My personal take with the show, and I think I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything. Very little spoilers, if at all. I'm not a fan. Again, the aesthetic's fine. It does look beautiful, much like, again, most HBO shows. There are elements of the game in there, and it does seem somewhat true. Again, the shift in the timeline changes things considerably. Going to present an interesting situation when we get around music. So some of the familiarity is going to be different because of the way the timeline has shifted. And again, I think it might have been done for budgetary reasons or for a lack of context for either Cuckman or for Mason. Interesting exchange when Ellie is handed over is very good. Again, there's good and bad about the show. The very last scene is probably a good place to draw a line, as it does create some interest to see the next episode, because it's kind of a cliffhanger, although if you've played the game, I don't know how cliffhangery it is. Again, what's worse here, and I think I've covered this before, either in a video or in a short, is that we already know there's at least 2 seasons, if not more, and that the second season is going to dive completely into the second game. At times, this feels quite stretched narratively or storytelling-wise, and many things are dragged out that should be played faster. I would imagine somebody like Druckmann would understand pacing, absent the actual gameplay of an actual person interacting with a game. Maybe not. I have to say I'm more interested in what you would have to think, because, again, I'm still digesting the show. This is my very first reaction to it. I feel like I said, like there's an awful lot of, modern audience stuff in here. And it might turn some people off. But like I said, I'm interested in what you have to say. Please leave your comments in the section down below. Let me know if you agree with the critics that this ranks 98%. Or, something a little farther south than that. Of course, support other independent creators out there. I'm sure you're going to get a whole lot of reviews on this particular show and this particular episode over the next 24 to 48 hours. I also have seen some people do some watch parties. I'm not sure I would entertain that, but hey, I think it's great. Some of my friends are doing them right now, and I think it's wonderful, but just not my thing, at least not with something like this. If you want to watch RRR or something, I'm on board. But anyway, like I said, please leave your comments down below. Support independent creators. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. Maybe you won't get this fungus thing that is made out in a very strange way. I don't know. And until next time, bye. And don't forget to check out my Rumble at rumble.com/CultureCasino.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.